Right now, as you're watching this video, there's something following Earth through space. It's been there for 60 years, you've never seen it, NASA didn't tell you about it. And here's the creepy part. It's gonna keep following us for another 68 years before it finally leaves. No, this isn't science fiction. This is real. And what's even stranger, Earth might have dozens of these cosmic stalkers, and we're only just starting to find them. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn will completely change how you think about our planet's place in space. Let me take you back to 2024 for a second. Earth captured a mini moon. For 2 months, this little rock actually orbited our planet. Scientists watched it circle us a few times, and then, just like that, it left. It slipped back into its orbit around the sun and disappeared into the cosmic void. Everyone thought that was cool, a temporary visitor, a cosmic tourist, but then astronomers made a disturbing discovery. There was another rock out there. And this one, it wasn't just passing through. It had been following Earth since the 1,960 seconds. Let that sink in. This thing has been out there through the Vietnam War, through Woodstock, through the fall of the Berlin Wall, through 9/11, through the entire internet revolution, just following us. They're calling it 2025 PN7. And it's what scientists classify as a quasi-moon. Now, before you click away thinking this is just another boring space rock story, let me tell you why this should terrify and fascinate you at the same time. Because quasi-moons, they shouldn't exist. The physics of space should tear them away from us almost immediately. But somehow, they've found a way to cheat the system. Here's what makes them so weird. A quasi-moon doesn't actually orbit Earth. Read that again. It doesn't orbit Earth. Our regular moon, that's doing laps around us every 27 days like a loyal dog. But a quasi-moon, it's orbiting the sun just like Earth is, except it's doing something that seems almost impossible. It's moving at exactly the right speed, at exactly the right distance to stay synchronized with us. Imagine you're running a marathon and there's another runner who's not in your lane, not even on your track, but somehow every time you look over, they're right there. Same pace, same position for 26 miles. That's what this rock is doing. Except the marathon is 60 years long and counting. The question you should be asking right now is how? How is this even possible? Space isn't some calm, peaceful void like it looks in the movies. It's a gravitational war zone. The sun is pulling on everything with massive force. Earth is pulling, the moon is pulling. Jupiter, Mars, Venus, they're all yanking on each other and everything around them. It's chaos. Most asteroids that come anywhere near Earth get grabbed, flung away, or smashed into something else within a few years, maybe a few decades if they're lucky. The fact that 2025 PN7 has maintained this delicate dance for 6 decades is like watching someone balance on a tightrope during an earthquake. It shouldn't work, but it does. And here's where it gets even more interesting. PN7 isn't alone. Astronomers have found others. One of them, called 2016 HO3, has been Earth's companion for nearly a century. 100 years. This rock has been keeping pace with us since before World War II, and scientists think it might stick around for several more centuries. But wait, there's more. And this is where your mind might actually break a little. Some of these quasi-moons, they might not be asteroids at all. They might be pieces of our actual moon. There's one called Kamo'o-Alewa. When scientists analyzed the light reflecting off it, they found something shocking. It reflects light almost identically to the lunar rocks that Apollo astronauts brought back from the moon. The composition matches. The signature matches. This has led to a wild theory. Millions of years ago, something massive slammed into the moon. The impact was so violent that it sent chunks of lunar rock flying into space. Most of that debris either crashed back into the moon, hit Earth, or vanished into the solar system. But some pieces, they found that perfect orbit, that sweet spot where they could follow Earth around the sun forever. Imagine that. Pieces of the moon torn away by some ancient catastrophe, now circling the sun alongside us like lost children trying to find their way home. And 2024 PT5, that mini moon from last year that actually did orbit Earth for 2 months, tests showed its surface looks like lunar basalt. More evidence that we might be surrounded by fragments of the moon following us through the cosmos. Now, let's talk about PN7 specifically, because this little guy has some secrets. It's only 62 feet across. That's about the length of a bowling lane. Tiny. Absolutely microscopic in space terms. This is why it stayed hidden for 60 years. It's so small and so dim that it just blended in with the stars. Thousands of astronomers looked right past it, night after night, year after year. You couldn't see it with your backyard telescope, even if you knew exactly where to look. It's that faint. It took advanced detection systems and computer algorithms analyzing millions of data points to finally spot it. And here's what's haunting about that. If we missed this one for 60 years, what else is out there following us that we haven't found yet? Scientists don't know what PN7 is made of yet. They know its trajectory, they know its size, but its composition, its origin, complete mystery. It could be an asteroid that got lucky. It could be a piece of the moon. It could be something we haven't even theorized about yet. What they do know is that it's going to stay with us for about 68 more years before the gravitational dance finally breaks down and it drifts away into space. So if you're young enough, you might actually live to see the day when PN7 says goodbye to Earth and disappears into the darkness. But let's dig deeper into how this actually works, because the mechanics are mind-bending. From Earth's perspective, it looks like PN7 is doing these lazy loops around our planet, like it's drawing circles in space around us. But that's an illusion, a trick of perspective. In reality, both Earth and PN7 are racing around the sun on similar paths. Astronomers call this a one-to-one orbital resonance. Every time Earth completes one orbit around the sun, PN7 completes one orbit around the sun. Perfect synchronization. Like two clocks that always show the same time. Now you might be thinking, if it's so close to Earth, why doesn't our gravity just grab it and pull it in? Why doesn't it become a real moon? Great question. And the answer reveals something crucial about space. Even though we call these things near-Earth objects, they're not actually that near. Our real moon is about 239,000 miles away. That sounds far, but in space terms, it's right in our backyard. It's inside what's called Earth's Hill sphere, which is basically Earth's gravitational territory. Inside that bubble, Earth's gravity rules. The sun's influence is weaker, but quasi-moons, they're millions of miles away, way outside that bubble. They're in the sun's domain. Earth's gravity barely touches them. So they orbit the sun, not Earth. We're just fellow travelers on similar paths. That mini moon from 2024, PT5, that one actually did cross into Earth's Hill sphere. Once it got inside that boundary, Earth's gravity took over and it became a real satellite for 2 months. But it was small and moving fast, so it eventually escaped back out of the bubble and the sun reclaimed it. Now, quasi-moons are just one type of these cosmic tag-alongs. Earth actually has an entire entourage of space rocks following it around, and they all move in different weird ways. There are horseshoe orbiters. These are absolutely bizarre. From Earth's viewpoint, they seem to race ahead of us, then slow down, drift behind us, speed up again, and return to the front. If you plot their motion over time, it traces out a giant horseshoe shape in space. They're like that car on the highway that keeps appearing in your rearview mirror, then passing you, then falling behind again, over and over. Then there are the Trojans. These are the smart ones. They found the cheat codes to space. There are these special points in space called Lagrange points, where the gravitational forces from Earth and the sun perfectly balance out. It's like finding a calm spot in the middle of a raging river where you can just float without being swept away. There are 5 of these points, but the 2 most stable ones are 60 degrees ahead of Earth in its orbit and 60 degrees behind. Trojans park themselves in these spots and they can stay there for millions of years without drifting, just hanging out, freeloading off Earth's gravitational influence. Jupiter has thousands of these Trojan asteroids. Earth only has a handful that we've found so far, but they're there, holding their positions like cosmic sentries. And then it gets weirder. There are tadpole orbiters that don't sit perfectly still in those Lagrange points, but instead wiggle around them in bean-shaped loops. And jumping Trojans that can't make up their minds, they'll spend a few thousand years in the Lagrange point ahead of Earth, then slowly drift to the one behind Earth, then drift back to the front. They're the indecisive ones of the cosmic family. So Earth doesn't just have one moon. We have this entire collection of hangers-on, each following us in their own strange way. Some loop, some lead, some lag, some jump around. It's like Earth is the popular kid at school and everyone wants to hang out near us. But here's what you need to understand. These aren't permanent fixtures, they're temporary. Our real moon has been with Earth for over 4 billion years. It formed alongside us and it's going to be there until the sun dies. These quasi-moons and co-orbiters, they're just passing through. Even the ones that stick around for centuries will eventually drift away. The gravitational chaos of the solar system guarantees it. Eventually, some planet will give them a gravitational nudge. Or the sun's pull will shift slightly, or they'll just slowly lose their synchronization with Earth. And when that happens, they'll slip away into new orbits and become just another asteroid among millions. Let's talk about what our real moon does for a second, because the comparison is important. The moon controls our tides. It's slowing down Earth's rotation. It stabilizes our axial tilt, which keeps our seasons regular. Without the moon, Earth would wobble chaotically and the climate would be a disaster. The moon also acts as a shield, attracting or deflecting some asteroids that might otherwise hit us. And culturally, the moon has inspired every civilization in human history. Myths, calendars, art, music, poetry, billions of people have looked up at it and felt something profound. Quasi-moons can't compete with that. They're too small, too dim, too far away. You'll never see one in the night sky. They'll never inspire a love song or a werewolf legend, but they're important for different reasons. Every quasi-moon we discover teaches us something new about orbital mechanics, about how small objects survive in the gravitational chaos of the inner solar system, about the limits of stability in space. They help us refine our detection systems, improve our computer models, and understand our cosmic neighborhood better. And here's the practical angle. Quasi-moons are some of the easiest asteroids to reach. They're closer than most asteroids on similar solar orbits. One day, they could be waypoints for space exploration, places where we can mine resources or set up research stations, stepping stones to the rest of the solar system. China is already planning a mission to Kamo'olawa, that quasi-moon that might be a chunk of the lunar surface. They want to bring back samples and find out what it really is. That mission could launch within the next few years. So these little rocks following Earth around aren't just cosmic curiosities, they're windows into our past, and possibly gateways to our future. Here's the thing that gets me. We've only found a handful of these objects. A handful. And we know there must be more out there. Rocks too small or too dim for our current technology to detect. Maybe dozens of them, maybe hundreds. All following Earth through space, invisible companions we don't even know about yet. 2025 PN7 was out there for 60 years before we spotted it. How many others are still hiding? As our telescopes get better and our detection algorithms improve, we're gonna find more. And each new discovery is gonna tell us something we didn't know about how space works. So the next time you look up at the moon, remember, you're not seeing Earth's only companion, you're seeing the main attraction. But there's a whole supporting cast out there, following us through the darkness, orbiting in sync with our planet, temporary friends on our journey around the sun. Some of them might be pieces of the moon itself torn away eons ago, trying to find their way home. Some of them have been with us for decades and will be with us for decades more before they finally drift away. And some of them we haven't even discovered yet. Earth isn't alone in space. We never have been. We've got a whole entourage, a cosmic crew, a gang of rocks that chose to follow us on our trip around the sun. And 2025 PN7, it's been following us since 1965, and it'll keep following us until around 2093. That's 128 years of synchronized cosmic dance. A rock the size of a bowling lane, maintaining a perfect balance in gravitational chaos. Invisible to the naked eye, but always there. That's the universe we live in. Strange, beautiful, and full of secrets hiding in plain sight. If this blew your mind, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to know that Earth has secret followers. And if you want to dive deeper into space mysteries, check out the videos on screen. There's so much more weirdness out there waiting to be explored. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're never really alone in space.